I wonder if it's working. Okay, so we got audio too. So it's live. That's thank you for turning it off.
Testing 1, 2, 3, test. To those of you who may already be tuned into the live stream, we are still working on preparation and logistics for service, so just bear with us. Thank you. Testing for Charles. If you can hear me, please admit. Testing mic for Charles. Can you hear me? If you can, please admit. To those of you joining us on the Zoom link, please be aware. Good morning, everyone. On the Zoom link, please be aware that we are streaming live to YouTube. So if you do not wish your picture to be seen, please turn off your video or cover your camera. But we are live on YouTube at this current moment. Thank you.
Oh, what happened?
So again, to all joining us on the Zoom link, we are currently live on YouTube. So if you do not wish your picture to be seen Please cover your camera or stop your video. We still have a few minutes before service will start, and which will all be chaired by Reverend Shibata. So just bear with us as we prepare for service. Thank you. So we have a few that have just joined us on Zoom. Just a reminder that we are currently live on YouTube. So if you do not want your picture to be seen, please cover your camera or turn off your video. Service will begin shortly. Thank you.
Go to Guitar Center. I would take a look, see what people are doing for live streaming services like on YouTube, because I know those mics have a wide range.
So to those on live stream and Zoom, Reverend Shibata is currently doing concho, so service will begin shortly. Thank you. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namaste. Good morning, everybody. My name is. Thank you so much for joining us this Sunday, August 14th, 2022. And I also want to thank you for your kind patience and understanding as we maneuver through this hybrid service. Of course, I'm saying hello to all of our friends online, and of course, welcoming all of our friends back into the temple as well. I have to say again, I know my first service was actually the Obon service and Hatsubon service, the end of July, but I'm still quite nervous. This is actually my second in-person service for the Buddhist Church of Stockton, even though I've been here for 2 years. So I'm still working out how to do things. I still feel very new. So it's very exciting to be with all of you, and also an honor to be with all of you today.
as we conduct this Buddhist Church of Stockton Shotsuki monthly memorial service for all of our loved ones who have passed away during the month of August. And so we'll continue the service with the chanting of Psalm Bujo. And I hope you've received the printout that's outside on the table there. And Bujo is possibly something new to Stockton. It's called 3 Respectful Callings. And we call upon Amida Buddha, the historical Shotsuki Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions to be present today. And this will be followed by the Kyo Yakumo and the reading of the Shotsuki names, all of our friends and loved ones who have passed away this particular. So please join me in the chant. Anticipation of Stockton's the 4th of August. In the presence of the environment of great wisdom and compassion. We also our ties to those who have passed away. They are June Asai. Moriyuki Mori Egusa, Kenneth Kenzo Fuji, Toshiyuki David Fujishiya, Fred Fukano, Chieno Fukushima, Isao Fukushima, Kenneth Takashi Fukushima, David Asao Fukuyama, Mitsuno Kondo,
Wilfred Gotanda, Yoshi Hashimoto, Harue Helen Hayashi, Minoru Hayashi, Henry Okimoto Hayashino, Kima Higashi, Sadaki Higashi, Sawano Hiranaga, Akira Hirota, Lester Hori, Frank Inamasu, Richard Ingham, Kusai Inoue, Hideko Iwata, Ted Kamibayashi, Roy Tadaji Kamidori, Marie Marian Kaneko, Itono Kasa, Shizue Su Kawada, Yoshio Jo Kawada, Mika Komoto, Tomiko Kosugi, Ronald Tsugio Kurakazu, Nobuji Masai, Fanny Matsuda, Tamae Matsumoto, Hiroshi Matsumura, Fred Hoshie Matsuno, Terry Matsuo, Thomas Miyai, Kenny Sadakazu Morodomi, Hisakichi Muraoka, Shogo Muraoka, Isa Nishimura, Harold Mita, Warren Susumu Mita, Yukiko Noble, Michael Nojiri, Matane Ogo, Reverend Masanori Ohata, Masaji Mac Oshita, Masaru Ryuto, Suzue Ryuto, Frank Goro Sada, Kenneth Sada, Kiyoe Sagara, Okana Shiromizu, Megumi Sugi, Tom Torigoe, Kusanojo Tsujimoto, Alice Eniko Tsunekawa, Nobu Tsunomori, Ayako Ueda, Kaneo Ueda, Morimitsu George Ueda, Moriyuki Mo Ueda, Ao Yamamoto Fumino, Mary Ueda, Yoshiro Ueda, Yorino Uesugi, Chiyo Wakabayashi, Kazutoshi Watanabe, Hisayo Yada, Toshiko Yamamoto, Aileen Yamamura, Stanley Yamasaki, Hisae Yomekura, and Akikoshi Yoshida. We realize in the cherished memories of those we love that we have lost, the impermanence of all the world is revealed. May the fragrance of the incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the flowers offered remind us of the delicate truth of life's impermanence. And may the lights that burn brightly on the altar lead our thoughts to Anita's light of wisdom that dispels the darkness of our selfishness. Please join me in Gasho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu. At this time, we will continue the service with the chanting of Jusege, which can be found on page 95. And incense may be offered by family, friends, and relatives of those who have passed away. Namanda Tsunamanda 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 Tsunamanda. Okay, please join me for the singing of the Gatha, Namu Amida Butsu, which can be found on page 188 in our service book. And this will be followed by our pledge, which is on the back of the service book cover. Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Please be seated. Thank you. So I would like to share this month's Shotsuki monthly memorial service donor message with all of you today. And please join me in Gassho as I read a passage from Shinran Shonin's words. Those who reach the pure land of happiness return to this evil world of the five defilements, where like Buddha Shakyamuni, they benefit sentient beings without limit. From the collective works of Shinran hymns of the Pure Land. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. So thank you again for joining me this morning. Again, it's a pleasure to be with all of you. And it feels like, again, like a start to my ministry here in Stockton. Of course, to be with all of you online, and then those of you who are here today in the temple. So thank you again for joining me. And of course, I think Shotsuki monthly memorial services are always near and dear to my heart, as it always allows us to turn our hearts and minds to our loved ones who have passed away in this particular month. But of course, we always think about all of our loved ones who have passed away. And even hopefully it'll allow us to really think about those loved ones and friends who are still part of our lives on a day-to-day basis, creating this amount of gratitude and love that we have for them. So today's message was actually inspired by a pastoral care visit. So as a minister, I have the opportunity to not only visit our members of the temple, but also members of the community who might need some support or a visit, or even for me to do a service for them. And so I was actually referred to this individual, and his name was Sean, and one of our members was his teacher when he was growing up. And so it had been essentially a few decades since our member was his teacher. And sadly, Sean was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He was a veteran of the war, and he had served in Afghanistan. And I believe because of his duties overseas, he ended up being diagnosed with terminal cancer. And when I was able to see Sean for the first time, it was noted that he was a Buddhist. So although he wasn't Jodo Shinshu Buddhist, like our school of Buddhism, Sean was introduced to the Thai Buddhist lineage through his wife, who was from Thailand. And when Sean and I had an opportunity to meet with one another, he had started off by saying that this teacher, who was a member of our temple, was one of the most influential teachers that he had ever had growing up. And this teacher was very, very touched by his comment, and it was because she had introduced very briefly and an overview of Buddhism in their classroom. And Sean had noted that this particular teacher was willing to talk about other religions, other ways of life, opening him up to all of these different possibilities. And this was his start. Who would have known while he was in school to Buddhism? And so I think just this detail in general allows us to really reflect upon, we may never know the impact that we might have on an individual through our actions, or through our words, or even a kind glance or kind smile. So again, we never know this kind of impact that we'll have on another individual well into their life, and even maybe during some of their darkest days. And so despite Sean's condition, again, which was terminal, he was truly able to still talk about all of the gratitude in his life that he had. He was grateful for this opportunity to be with his wife and be reunited with his sisters and his mother. However, despite the gratitude that he was expressing, and of course, even how kind he was to me, a perfect stranger coming into his home, and even into his sister's home, who she was currently living with. They were all so grateful for my presence, being able to just meet a stranger who I had never met before, and to try to provide him with some comfort. And again, although he spoke of this gratitude that he was experiencing, he did speak of some of his fears. So if he didn't necessarily have a fear of dying or his imminent passing, but his biggest fear was leaving his loved ones, and especially leaving his wife behind, and making sure that she was going to be okay after he had died. And as I mentioned, his wife Sue was also a Buddhist, a Thai Buddhist, and she was strong in her Buddhist teachings. And although we may not have shared maybe the same practice in our Buddhist tradition, we still shared the same common doctrine from the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha from India. So we talked about suffering. We knew that suffering was common to all of us, but we knew that there was comfort from the Buddhist teachings in all of our lives, despite something that we might be facing, even our own passing. She understood this impermanence in our lives. She understood death and dying, also noting that her husband was currently dying, and she was accepting of her husband's imminent passing. So for me, that was quite shocking. When we met, she didn't shed any tears of fear or loss, but she was, again, very aware of her husband's imminent passing. So we ended our visit. I had maybe a little bit less than an hour to visit him, but of course, Sean was very, very tired, and so I had excused myself and had offered to see them again. So within that particular week, I was asked by his sister to visit Sean again. She did warn me, per se, and stated that Sean was very weak and he was very tired and was currently on medication to ease his pain and sleeping quite frequently. So surprisingly, his condition had drastically changed even within those few days of my visits. And again, he was on medication, so he was sleeping when I had arrived. However, I did greet him. I had acknowledged his presence. I think something that maybe we don't do to everybody in our everyday lives, but I acknowledged that he was there with his wife. And I said hello to him. And surprisingly, Sean opened his eyes and he acted as if he was going to get up. And I said, oh no, Sean, please don't bother getting up. Please remain comfortable lying down. And he relaxed again and closed his eyes. And I continued to talk to Sean, and I asked him if it would be okay if I chanted Jusege for him. And Jusege was the sutra, the words of the Buddha that we chanted together today. And as I note during our services, Jusege is the 3 sacred vows. So of course, before Amida Buddha became Amida Buddha was the Bodhisattva, Dhammakara. And these were the vows that Bodhisattva had made. And so I explained this to Sean and his wife. And I chanted slowly but quietly, hopefully something that was able to ease a little bit of his pain. And his sister actually entered the room. She's a non-Buddhist, but she sat on the bed next to him. And at this moment, she said, and I had watched her in the corner of my eyes, she was crying during the sutra chanting. And although she may never had heard of the sutra chanting, and quite honestly, she said, I don't really know about Buddhism, but she was able to connect to maybe Sean and I, maybe to the teachings in that very moment. And when we were finished chanting, she said, I was able to finally cry, and she apologized for her tears. I think that's something that we occasionally do. I'm so sorry when we shed a tear. And of course, crying is nothing to be sorry about, something that's very natural for each and every one of us. And she said, I've been finally able to cry. I've just been continuing to keep her strength for everybody else in our family, which I could see was very, very difficult for her. But she was very appreciative of the time that I was able to spend with Sean. So Sue, his wife, entered the room again, and she actually at this time spoke of her fears. And she was fearful that her husband was holding on because of her. And she just didn't want him to do that. She wanted him to be free of his pain and his suffering. And she kept telling him, it's okay, it's okay. And as she rubbed his arms and his head, she said, it's okay. And so she did, of course, also mention that Sean had asked her, will I be able to come back and see you? And she had educated me, and in the Thai tradition, Thai Buddhist tradition, she stated that if their karma allows them to do so, they will be able to see one another in their next lives. And sadly, Sean did pass that evening after I had visited him. And so I wanted to continue to reflect upon this impactful visit with Sean. And when I read the Gosandai, or the opening reading, it allowed me to think about him again. And I wanted to share this writing from Shinran Shonin to all of you. So Shinran Shonin, our founder, wrote, "Those who reach the pure land of happiness return to this evil world of the five defilements, where, like the Buddha Shakyamuni, they benefit sentient beings without limit." And so I believe that this was part of Sean's question. Will I be able to see you again after I pass away? Can we be reunited? And it's something that I too have been reflecting on since I started my ministry. And so, of course, when we think about, well, when our loved one has passed away, they're not in this bodily form, how can they return to each and every one of us? In our tradition, the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist tradition, there is this return to our lives. This occurs through the memories and the love that we shared with them during their lifetimes, and of course that we continue to share with them. And so our loved ones too, from the Pure Land, they're urging us to encounter the Buddha and Shinran Shonin's teachings of the Nebutsu, urging us. And that's why I believe that funeral services and memorial services, whether family memorial services or services such as this, are very, very important to us. So as a ritual, funerals and memorial services allow us to remember our loved ones, to be able to come together like we are today, to receive comfort and support from one another. But it also allows us to be able to encounter the Buddha's teachings because we're gathered because of them. This opportunity to come together allows us to hear the Nebutsu, to hear the name of Namo Amida Butsu, and Amida Buddha always calling to us. And so again, I think that even though we might be of different Buddhist traditions, we still have this idea of still being able to be reunited even after our passing. And I think that this is what the possibly Shinran Shonin was talking about too, that our loved ones return from the Pure Land to be with us in this world as we continue to live this world of samsara and possibly living this life of suffering while we're in this human form. However, we receive the benefit of them returning to us, and this benefit is without limit. And of course, I do want to acknowledge the pain that we still feel when we miss our loved ones deeply. But I think this missing them is another way in which we encounter this deep gratitude for them as well. And I hope deep compassion to others who have lost a loved one too. And so, as I mentioned, Sean was very open and honest regarding the impact that his previous teacher had on his life. And again, we never know how we'll impact another individual's life through our words or actions. But although very brief, maybe only a week long of knowing him and his family, I will have to say that Sean and his family has impacted me more than what I had ever expected them to. And because of that, I'm very, very grateful. So thank you again for allowing me to share some of my experiences with this young individual and the impact that he's had on my life, and of course, the happiness that I feel that maybe he and I will be reunited once again, as he too is now a Buddha. So to conclude my message, I would like to read the letter on white ashes. And then this is found in our service book. And On White Ashes was written by Renyo Shonin, our 8th head priest of our Jodo Shinshu school of Buddhism. And this letter is typically read after funerals and memorial services to remind us of the impermanence of all of our lives and the gratitude that we should have for each breath that we take. So as this letter is read, please bow your head in reflection. On white ashes. and silently contemplating the transient nature of human existence. Nothing is more fragile and fleeting in this world than the life of humans. Thus, we have not heard of human life lasting for 1,000 years. Life swiftly passes, and who among us can maintain their form for even 100 years? Whether I go before others or others go before me, whether it be today or whether it be tomorrow, who is to know? Those who leave before us are as countless as the drops of dew. Though in the morning we may have radiant health, in the evening we may return to white ashes. When the winds of impermanence blow, our eyes are closed forever, and when the last breath leaves us, our face loses its color. Though loved ones gather and lament, everything is to no avail. The body is then sent into an open field and vanishes from this world with the smoke of cremation, leaving only the white ashes. There is nothing more real than this truth of life. The fragile nature of human existence underlies both the young and the old, and therefore we must, one and all, turn to the teachings of the Buddha and awaken to the ultimate source of life. By so understanding the meaning of death, we shall come to fully appreciate the meaning of this life, which is unrepeatable and thus to be treasured above all else. By virtue of true compassion, let us realize the irreplaceable value of human life, and let us live together with the Nembutsu in our hearts. With reverence, I remain. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Thank you. So we'll have one concluding gatha. This will be Undoksan number 1 on page 194. Please stand and join me in the singing of the gatha Undoksan number 1 in gratitude. To be the translation, please join me in Gassho. The debt of gratitude I owe to Amita's great compassion, I will proclaim until my life disintegrates into dust. The debt of gratitude I owe to my Dharma teachers, I will express until my bodily form is finally shattered. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. So thank you, everybody, for your kind attendance today for our Shotsuki Memorial Service for the month of August. And our dear friends are coming in for the Hiroshima Doshikai Memorial Service as well. So hello, everybody. Darlene, did you have all of the announcements, or did you want me to read those? I don't know.
Oh, yes, I did.
I can read them if you have the hard copy.
Except for the clicking of the
Okay. So just a few announcements. Dharma school teachers will have a meeting on August 21st at 10 a.m. to discuss this coming school year. And of course, if you do have children who are school age, if you would like them to be enrolled in our school program, please inquire with any of the members or any of the teachers who would be happy to assist you. And Dharma school will begin on Sunday, September 11th after the service. And so we'll have our service at 10 a.m. followed by Dharma school for the children. And we will have our online seminar, this is fall then, huh? Is it fall by then?
It'll be
So,
fun.
so we are planning to have a fall online seminar on September 10th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And the guest speaker is Reverend John Turner, who was our Obon and Hatsubon speaker. And the theme is called Shin Buddhism, the Practice of Immersion. And this is a free seminar, but of course, your kind donations are always accepted with deep gratitude. And so if you have any questions, please let me know. Or you can see the Karma, our newsletter, for details. Or if you would need assistance with registering, please let me know because it does require pre-registration. Our fall chicken teriyaki sale will be on October 23rd. Flyer and tickets will be mailed out soon. The Sangha Club, which is our middle high schoolers, they're continuing the collection of their aluminum cans and recyclable plastic bottles. And the donations of these cans and bottles can be left by the white bin, which is under the carport, and help keep recyclable bottles and cans out of our landfills while supporting one of our youth organizations. And I believe that this is maybe their only fundraising, but they do quite well because of all of your gratitude and all of your recycling. And remember, you can donate your service offering by mailing it to the church or conveniently made through our church website. So thank you in advance for your support. And are there any other announcements?
Do we have September 11th is the first day of Dharma school? So anybody with interested families, that'll be the start of Dharma school.
Okay, and then again, Darlene reminded us, again, September 11th will be the start of our Dharma school. So please bring your children. We'd be happy to meet them and support them in their journey of being young Buddhists as well.
And our silent auction ends at 9 o'clock
Ooh,
today.
okay, and one of our current fundraisers is our silent auction, and that can be found online, and it ends this evening, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so a lot of wonderful goodies donated by our wonderful members as well. So thank you again for your support. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, so thank you so much for your attendance today and sharing the Dharma. And remember, our friends can continue to see our recorded services on YouTube. So please subscribe to YouTube. And we also have a Facebook page as well. So you can like our Facebook page. But thank you everybody for your kind attendance. And if you didn't have an opportunity to offer incense during the first part of the service, you can go ahead and offer incense now. And then we will get started shortly for the service at 11:30. So thank you again for your kind attendance. Take care.